much for coming on. And first of all, you're retired Air Force. Thank you for serving our country. Thank you so much for that. And I think that veterans never hear that enough. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You betcha. All right, let's go back to lay some groundwork here to January 2010. You said you always wanted to serve your country. That was part of your dream. You did. You were in Kandahar, Afghanistan, and what happened on that day?
So my job in the Air Force was to sum it all up, to call in airstrikes for the Army on the front lines. And very rigorous training, and at the culmination of it all, they send us out in two-man teams, embed us in Army units, and we go out on patrol. So I'd been in country January 3rd for just shy of a month, and my teammate and I, Brad Smith, loving it. 'Cause like you said, that was what I wanted to do, and it was a dream come true, and we were having a ball. January 3rd, we were on routine foot patrol, and we were going to a small village that has a mountain on the backside and a river in front, and there's just one bridge to get into it. And as we approached the town, I was third in the stack of guys crossing the bridge. The soldier that was first in line stepped on an IED buried in the road, and it detonated, instantly killed him, the soldier behind him, and hit me in my face and my neck. Knocked me off that bridge, actually into the water. And the last thing that I remember was looking over my left shoulder up the valley, looking at the water, and as I turned my head back was when it went off. The next thing I know, everything's black, and I'm in the water underneath this bridge, trying to find which way was up, which way was down, trying to get out. But I was so disoriented, I couldn't figure it out.
And you were blind.
Totally, from the second that bomb went off. And I had no idea. I remember wiping my eyes trying to figure out what was going on. I didn't understand. And the medic pulled me out, patched up. I've got a 3-inch long scar on the right side of my neck. He patched that up, and I had severe shrapnel damage to my face and neck. And as he was doing that, my teammate was calling aircraft to come in and give us support from Kandahar. And after they stabilized me, they both went forward into this small village under enemy fire to retrieve the body of the soldier who stepped on the first IED. And as they were bringing him back out, a second IED was remotely detonated, killed both of them. So after it was all said and done, out of a 13-man patrol, we lost 4 and had a total of 6 wounded.
How does one deal with that? You're wounded, you're getting out of there. How do you deal with that?
During the incident, I remember quite a bit. I feel like it's quite a bit. I remember talking with people. I remember hearing gunfire, but I was so confused and so disoriented, it didn't click. The last thing I remember in country was the buckle on the Black Hawk being strapped over my chest as they picked me up. I woke up a week and a half later in Washington, D.C. with just very, very vague ideas of what had just happened. My very first clear memory was my dad pushing me in a wheelchair up to see the doctor, and it was him kneeling down in front of me saying, I'm really sorry. We thought we could save the vision in your right eye, but there's nothing we can do. You're going to be totally blind. And right after that, I remember just kind of sitting back and just thinking, okay, well, let me process this for a minute.
And how old are you at the time?
22. And right after that, I get back to my room, and my dad sits down on my bed and says, "Look, I need to tell you what happened on the rest of the patrol." That was when I found out about Brad, my teammate, and the rest of the guys. And when I heard that, it completely changed my attitude. So here I was, I just learned I'm going to be totally blind, but I've got 4 friends that aren't coming home at all. And I decided right there on the spot to overcome blindness, to not let it slow me down and hamper me in any way, because I was just so fortunate to be alive. I was going to turn my life into a tribute to them and take advantage of every opportunity, do all the things that I had said that I wanted to do, but somehow never had the time to do. I wanted to do it all and to live life to the fullest. So deciding right there, about 2 weeks after it happened, to not look back and just to go forward. And that's been my philosophy ever since.
At 22, you had that kind of foresight to wrap yourself around moving forward. I don't know a lot of 22-year-olds that could do that. What is it about you that allows you to do that?
I had a really great support system. I grew up with 4 sisters. I'm the only boy. And from the minute I woke up, I had family there. I had friends, letters coming in. The way that my small hometown just south of Albuquerque, New Mexico, the way they came together to support my family and the way my family supported me, I feel really made a huge amount of difference. Because here I am facing the reality that, the future that I had planned is now gone. Everything that I knew has to change. And here I am facing a disability that I don't know anything about. But I knew that regardless of whatever came next, my family was there with me. I had friends and people back home who cared. And I knew I was going to be okay either way.
You wanted to stay active after this happened, active duty. So what did you do once you're dealing with the fact that I'm never going to see again? Because you can't even see a glimmer of light.
Right.
It's total darkness.
Pitch black.
What did you do?
I just started absorbing every amount of information I could. I was asking everybody questions about, how do blind people get around? How do they have training? What kind of technology is available for me to help me be successful? And from very early, I was asking about guide dogs because I knew I had seen that, and I knew that I wanted one because I love dogs. And I had so many questions running through my mind all the time, but I was hampered by recovery. It took a while. I was frustrated that I wasn't up and out of bed in the first week, and I was just so eager to get out there.
I want to bottle your energy. It is absolutely amazing to me. So you get going, you start a mentorship program. Tell me about that.
This was about a year and a half or so later. Fast forward through a couple of other events, I had been trying to do my best, and I feel like that was part of how this all came to be. I got offered from a friend at the Pentagon the opportunity to move to San Antonio, Texas, and to basically help the Air Force establish a mentorship program. It was called the Recovering Airman Mentorship Program, and the whole idea was to take combat wounded service members or cancer patients, car accidents, you name it, any type of serious injury or illness. The plan was to take folks who have been through it, who have overcome it, and are succeeding in life, and use them as mentors for people who are just at the initial stages. Because the idea is nobody knows what this person's about to go through than somebody who's been there and has done it. Nurses and doctors have kind of a clinical perspective, but they don't have the real world credibility. So the idea was to make this a resource available. And I worked on this for about a year, establishing training protocols and guidelines and trying to recruit and just figuring out how it was all going to work. And there was lots of other changes going on. I met a lady and got married, and
you have 3 kids now.
Starting to have kids.
They are 4, 2, and 6 months.
That's right. And the interesting thing is that actually the 4-year-old was the daughter of the soldier Josh who stepped on the IED that killed me. Jessie, my wife, was married to Josh, the soldier that stepped on the IED that blinded me. And we met a few months down the road, and from the minute I met her, I knew there was something different about her. And to be honest, I felt kind of creepy at the time, because it's just a couple of months, and she came and gave me a hug, and immediately I just there's something about this girl. And I tried to ignore it, but I wasn't able to. And after they stayed for about a week that first time, and I invited her to come back, and she did, and things progressed from there. And yeah, fast forward to now, and we're married, and we have 2 of our own, and life couldn't be much better.
You have an amazing story to tell, and that's one reason why you're here, to get this story out to people about how you're pushing forward, and you're married and you have children, and there's so much more that you want to do. Tell me about how you got connected to Fidelco and your dog.
So this was another situation that kind of seems by good fortune or chance or divine intervention, whatever you want to call it. When I left the rehab facility in California and moved back to New Mexico, I got assigned a caseworker who was married to another airman who had been blinded a couple years before me. She knew that I wanted a guide dog. He had just received a Fidelco Guide Dog a couple of months before. So she said, if you're interested, you should call him and talk to him about it. So I did. And I said, okay, what can you tell me? I mean, because I don't really know a lot about this kind of stuff. What's going on here? I said, okay, well, first off, let me tell you, if you're serious about a dog, you really should consider Fidelco. They use German Shepherds. They're the only company that exclusively uses Shepherds, and these dogs are amazing. They look beautiful. So that was a big thing for me, because they're amazing looking dogs. Being a military guy and seeing the military working dogs, they just look tough. And I loved that. He also said they have been given a grant from the Newman Zone Foundation to pay for a dog. They're $45,000.
With all the training that goes into it.
With everything that goes into each one of these dogs, 45 grand. He said they were given a grant specifically for dogs for wounded vets. So they're basically looking for you. And the other big thing is that they will bring the dog to you, and they will spend 2 weeks or so with you in your own community, teaching you how to use that dog where you're familiar. And I didn't really know at the time, but I guess most companies, from what I understand, all companies except Fidelco, you have to go to a campus, and you're assigned an instructor with anywhere from 2 to 4 other students, and you all kind of learn together. So each one of these little pieces, I said, well, that sounds great. They come to me. I mean, there's so many things going on. I'm still going back to California for surgeries, recently married, and still kind of adjusting to blindness. There's so many other things happening that I don't really want to take a month out of all of this to go to a campus. I don't really have the time for that. So I sent in an application in November of 2010. January 3rd, on the exact 1-year anniversary, Xxon was standing on my doorstep.
Tell me about Xxon. Was it love at first sight with this dog?
Oh yeah. He hasn't moved since we started, and that was him from the beginning. And I thought it was really cool. I mean, when they brought him out to meet me for the first time, I'm expecting to maybe get licked in the face and have a little excitement like most dogs. He walked up and just stood there and looked at me.
How does he help you live your life?
He has given me back, freedom, independence, and confidence to get out and do whatever I need to do. I went through the training to learn how to use the white cane, but cane travel is slow, it's frustrating, and it's tedious, and I hated it. I was always an active person. I was always going 100 miles an hour, and I hated walking slow. It was a really big issue that I had. I got Xxon, and now most people with sight have trouble keeping up with us because we just go, and I love it. It's so much faster. It gives me so much more confidence to know that so many things, the little details I had to worry about with a cane, aren't an issue anymore. And one of my favorite aspects is the social side of it. Because traveling with the cane, most people don't know how to interact, how to approach a blind person. They don't really know what to say. But when there's a dog, it's an immediate icebreaker.
Sure.
And it brought me back into society again. And now here I am with this. I've had him for 2.5 years now, and he's one of the best partners I've ever had, and we go everywhere.
There's nothing like a dog. Tell me about the bracelet that you wear, Michael.
So,
and I want people to see this. You keep your hand right there, and maybe we can get a shot of this. There are names on this bracelet. Who is on the bracelet, and why is it so important that you wear it?
So these names: Brad Smith, my teammate; John Dion, who was right in front of me on the patrol; Josh Langsdorff, who stepped on the ID that blinded me; Brian Bowman was the medic that pulled me out of the water. These guys saved my life, and not just there on the battlefield, but after. They gave me the motivation, the courage that I needed to get out of that bed, to get on with life. I've had this bracelet on since almost the very beginning. As soon as I got one, I put it on, and I haven't taken it off since. This has been with me every single day, and it's my constant reminder to always try to be better than the day before.
So it's strength for you.
Absolutely.
You're an amazing young man.
Thank you.
You know that, right?
Thank you. People keep saying it. It's still weird, this whole situation. It still seems kind of like something that's happened to somebody else, and I'm just sort of sitting in on it. To me, I absolutely appreciate the gratitude that people show. I understand it completely, because I feel that way toward other veterans that I meet. In my mind, I was just doing exactly what I signed up to do. I knew the risks, but I'm very grateful to see how people have come together to support people like me coming back.
Well, you do our country proud, and as you go forward, you're the kind of guy that's no one's going to stop you. You've got the dog, you've got your wife, you've got 3 kids. Now you've started something called Malarsie.com. What is Malarsie.com, and what do you hope to do with that?
Malarsie.com is kind of the next chapter of life. As I was going through the recovery and was still in the military, I got to go out and do a lot of speaking at different military events and charity events and all sorts of things. And there was one incident where after I was done, I was walking back out to the car that we came in, and a lady came up to me in tears and gave me this great big hug and just told me, "I'm so grateful that you came and you shared this story. It has touched my life." And I didn't really consider until that point how my story could help people who are dealing with challenges and difficulties in their own lives. And after that day, I went forward with a serious thought of making speaking a career. Now, just about a week ago, Malarsie.com, I set this website up to do just that, to get out there and have a resource or have a way for people to track me down and basically book me to come out and speak. You know, I feel like this story has a way of touching people's lives, and I want to be able to share it.
Well, you're going to do powerful things in your young life. You really are. And you are an inspiration. And I think everybody who hears your story will be inspired by you.
Thank you.
Michael Malarsie, good luck to you. Let me hear from you as you go on. And thank
Absolutely.
you so much for serving our country and for coming on.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.